very quickly. I just watched part of that video back and it looks like I am not looking at the camera. And I'm looking at my little green dot and it looks like I am not speaking to the camera. So I don't want to redo it. So sorry, everybody. Just a disclaimer that I don't know what it is about my camera, but I really was trying to look at the screen. I need to get better at this. Anyway, on to the video. Hi everybody, it's Gina. Welcome back to the Library Mouse. Today I thought that I would go ahead and do a March wrap-up. It's going to be short and sweet because I've talked about all of these books in prior videos, but I haven't compiled them all into one. So I've been keeping track of it in my reading journal. And so for the month of March, I really wanted to focus on the 52 book challenge. And so I just did a random number generator and spun the wheel and got 5 numbers. And those numbers I matched up to the 52 book challenge categories. I'll link that video below if you want to watch me do that. But anyway, the 5 categories that I was going to be looking for a book to read for the month of March, I have written down here on my whiteboard that my granddaughter decorated. One was an author that everyone else has read but me, a character-driven novel, an omniscient narrator, the word secret in the title, and 4 different points of view. So I did some of them. So for the first book I read, fit into the 4 or more different points of view, and that was the book House Rules by Jodi Picoult. I've already talked about this in a different video, but very quick recap. It's about a boy with Asperger's, a young adult. He's 18, I believe, 17 or 18. He has Asperger's and a deep, deep obsession, interest in forensics. And he's basically accused of the murder of his socialization tutor, who is a college student. So I usually love her books. I didn't love this one. First of all, I felt that it was too long. So much of it I felt was filler that didn't need to be there. There's a lot of information on crime scene investigation. And if you've read Jodi, I'll get my light down a little bit. Her books, so much of them take place in a courtroom. Same with this book. It's told from the points of view of Jacob, the boy, his brother Theo, his mother, his lawyer, and the main police investigator. And I felt like I didn't hate it, and it was good to see a person with Asperger's syndrome as the main character. However, I felt like so many characteristics of someone with Asperger's was kind of just all put into one character. And as a special ed teacher, you usually don't get students or people who have every single trait you could think of. I felt like that was what it was heading toward with him. I didn't love any of the characters either. Like, I just didn't even care. I didn't care what happened to any of them. And if I read a book and it's this big, I want to feel something for one of the characters. I feel like I need to be on their side. I wasn't on anybody's side in this. It did have a nice message about taking care of family. There were glimmers in here, but I just didn't love it. So the second book that I read, and this one was for Secret in the title, was The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I loved that book as a child. I have it here somewhere, but I don't know where. I can't find it. Looking back now, you know, I read it, and I think as a kid, I probably skipped over all of the Yorkshire speech, because as an adult, it was fairly difficult to read. I mean, you kind of, you know, put your own accent to it, kind of, and you figure out what they mean. You get the gist of it, but it still was a very, very good book. A lot about looking into your heart, about what you really want, having compassion for people who are different, for bravery, for not letting things get you so down that you give up, that you need to like open your mind and your heart to new ideas and new expectations. And it was still a very good book. Not a 5-star book for me, but it was still a very good book. The next book was Omniscient Narrator, which is third person. So I read, let me see if I can find it here. It is the book Running Out of Time by Margaret Peterson Haddix. I can show you. No, I can't. I thought I was going to be able to show you. But anyway, it is a sequel to Running Out of Time. I also read this book for mid-grade March. Also, The Secret Garden I considered it a mid-grade book just because I read it when I was in mid-grade. But Falling Out of Time basically is a book about this girl who lives in what is called Futureville. And she thinks she lives in, I think it's 2190, 2195. She thinks she actually lives in that year. And basically she finds out that no, it's like 2023. And she lives in a tourist attraction. If you've ever seen The Truman Show, this is a vibe similar to that. She lives at a tourist attraction that they made in the 2020s, 2010s, where they got volunteers to come and live there to show tourists what the future would be like if they take care of their planet, how wonderful it could be. No more war. Everyone gets along. Everything is well taken care of. But she finds out that tourists actually come and watch her through virtual reality goggles all day long. And she had no idea that this was happening. And she meets up with this other kid who actually lives in the bad future. So it was a Futureville to show what would happen if we don't take care of our planet. And together they leave their tourist attraction. They manage to escape because the people who live here are basically held hostage. And she goes on this rescue mission. It was very good. You don't need to have read the first book to read the second book. There's enough information alluded to and explained that you get it. I loved the first book, Running Out of Time, more than I loved Falling Out of Time. But they're both really good mid-grade books, with a little like science fiction edge to it. Now, character-driven novel, Demon Copperhead. This was my, okay, well that didn't work, did it? This was my 5-star book this month. I loved this book. When you're talking about connecting to a character, I so connected to Demon Copperhead. Like, I was rooting for this kid. I wanted him to succeed. And it is loosely based on Charles Dickens' David Copperfield, which I really want to go back. I want to read that now and compare it to this book. I might do that. I might find it just as an additional read, just to like plug away through. But, I mean, it talks a lot about foster homes that are not good. It talks about abuse. It talks about drug use, death. It's a heavy book. It is heavy. So if any of those things are triggers for people, just forewarning, you know, it is a heavy book and it's not happy. It's not happy all the time. There are things that happen and I'm like, God, can't this kid catch a break? But the ending is solid. The ending is hopeful, which is what I look for in a book like this. And I love the character. I love the writing. It's written by Barbara Kingsolver. And it's just an excellent, excellent book. The only issue I guess I had with this book was that he winds up being placed in a variety of foster homes. And you know, when you hear about foster homes, your mind automatically goes to like all the negative that you've ever heard about foster homes. And I feel like all the foster homes were bad. And I was a foster parent. We were foster parents. And I feel like it just continues the stereotype that foster parents are in it for the money and they don't take care of the kids. And that was my biggest issue with this book. Even in the good foster home, where he was treated as a member of the family, there was still a little bit of negativity because the foster father is an alcoholic. He doesn't really know what's going on in his own house. I won't give any more away, but even in the good foster home, there was a touch of bad. And I really wish he could have been in a foster home that was all good, because there are a lot of amazing foster parents out there. And this just kind of continues that stereotype that, oh, you know, foster parents are in it for the money. So, and I know it was based on David Copperfield. So there was that, you know, if she continued along the same lines of, you know, where David was living. I get that. But I wish there was just something a little more positive about the foster care system and his workers, because there are amazing people out there. But anyway, that was my only disappointment in this book. The rest of it was amazing and would definitely recommend it. The last book I read did not fit the last category. An author that everyone has read but me. Now, I don't think everyone has read Susanna Clark. Granted, it was a Women's Prize for Fiction 2021 winner, but and it was a New York Times bestseller. I don't think I would count this as an author everyone has read but me, so I did not do that one. This book surprised me. I also talked about this more in depth, but it's basically about this man named Piranesi who lives in a huge home. It's fantasy, so you can't even describe it. It's a world unto itself. It has storms inside the building and snow inside the building, and it's a labyrinth of halls lined with statues. And there's only one other person who lives in this house with him, is a man called the Other. He doesn't know how he got into this house. He doesn't ever remember being anywhere else. But suddenly there's a third person that shows up. And he starts finding clues about his past and how he got into this house. And I have to say, it was slow at the beginning. It's slow. But there's a mystery to it. And this character I really thought was going to be one-dimensional, just, he was not. I loved this character. I loved the ending of this book. It was very emotional, and I really didn't feel like it was going to be, and I kept thinking about this book a lot after I was done. So some of the reviews, the New York Times book review said it's rich, wondrous, full of aching joy and sweet sorrow. I agree with that. Sweetness, innocence of Piranesi's love for this world is devastating to read. Clark's writing is clear and sharp. She can cleave your heart in a few short words. The mystery of Piranesi unwinds at a tantalizing yet lightning-like pace. It's hard not to rush ahead, even when each sentence, each revelation makes you want to linger. That is true. Once I got to the mystery part of it, I just wanted to keep reading and reading and reading. And then when I was finished and I found out what really happened, I want to read it again because I feel like I missed a lot the first time around. I think there was a lot of foreshadowing that I didn't get. So definitely, this is a great book, especially if you love fantasy, but like me, even if you don't. So that was my March wrap up. 5 books, which was my goal. 4 out of my 5 52 book challenge categories. Oh, here comes Huckleberry. She doesn't need her booty in the video. Say hi, honey. She's so sweet. I don't know if you're a cat person, but we are cat people and dog people here. We have 5 cats and 2 dogs. Anyway, that's it for the month of March. And I'll be talking to you soon in my next video. I'm sorry I am shaking because she was on this table and it shakes. So I will see you in the next video. Happy reading!